Now, I want us to move to Formula One. With us, Joseph Chalo is one of the biggest Formula One enthusiasts I know in the country. Amazing. And then to his right, it's someone who just does not understand what is the point of Formula One. Why are they? So I want to pitch you guys against each other. You make your case for why Formula One is like, whatever. And then you can make your case for why it's one of the richest and why you enjoy it so much.
No, here's the thing. I think for me, I like sports, but I like sports in its rawest form, you know, mano y mano. Once we bring in the cars and then we bring, maybe it's because I didn't like physics in high school. I dropped it at the earliest opportunity. So the whole aerodynamics and downforce and DRS is just too complicated for me. And I also feel like there's not enough overtaking in Formula One. I believe the motorsport is all about overtaking. It's all about daring moves, but it's like the IndyCar, you know? But Formula One, for me, it's a lot more science than it's a sport.
That's blasphemy. He compared Formula One to IndyCar, honestly.
No, actually, you would say if you look at Formula One, the last 2-3 years, say the hybrid era from 14, 15, 16, 17, overtaking has been minimal. And back in 2011, when they introduced the DRS, which is when they opened the flap at the back to increase, which for me I don't like because I feel it's cheating. Because I worked hard to be ahead of you, and you're getting an extra boost for you to be able to overtake me while I worked hard to be ahead of you. So I don't like it. In the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, when Schumacher was racing, there was a lot of overtaking. But there was no DRS. So it's that what I've done in Formula One, the car is very complex, the physics that you don't like. All those winglets, all those smaller parts that you see on the car, they don't allow the cars to follow each other, which is whenever you're close to someone, you start losing the grip. So your tires become cold, and then you're not able to overtake because now you start sliding into corners. So you lose downforce, which is a grip on the floor. So if you look at the tires, they're usually very smooth. So they use heat. They are heated up to 100 degrees before they're put on the car, so that it's rubbish. So they stick on the floor like the way you'd get a piece of rubber and stick. So if you start moving slow, they get cold and you slide because they're slicks. So now that's what they use for grip. So if you don't get that grip and then you start sliding, you're not going anywhere. And at 10th in Formula One, someone is a few meters ahead of you. 1 second in Formula One, you're not getting anywhere. You're not getting anywhere near anyone.
So you see all those complications.
Yeah, I know. He was looking at him like,
I'm thinking, no, it's like a lesson in physics. But my argument is, what's the thrill of motorsport? What's the thrill of racing? Is it just overtaking?
Yes.
Let's overtake then.
It's one speed and overtaking. Sorry.
Why is Ayrton Senna hailed as the best Formula One driver ever?
Brave, bravado.
And he won only 3 titles. We have Schumi, who has won 7. Hamilton will most likely win his 6th. At the end of this season, because nowadays Formula One is everything happens, but Hamilton wins at the end. So the reason why people like Senna and Prost and all that, and Schumacher, they brought life into sport. Villeneuve, you know, there used to be competition, real competition. Guys would go out there with machines and compete and beat each other to the end. But nowadays, it's become so technical,
so scientific,
and so scientific that one simple thing, if for example you get one car right at the start of the season, that's the end. We had Red Bull winning 4 times in a row. Then now we have Mercedes winning until infinity, until somebody somewhere will come with a car that can rival that, and they only have to do 1 or 2 adjustments.
But what was the difference with Schumacher? Because he still dominated, and was it that he was a complete race driver, or was his car also the best at the time, or was it a combination of both?
Both. So biggest thing with Schumacher in his time is that Ferrari were very dominant at that time. More or less similar to what we are seeing now with Mercedes. 2002, they blew everyone away in that season. I think they exchanged wins with his teammates, and of course Ferrari, of course, operate with one driver to win everything. During that time, cars were a bit more manual than they are today. And back into Senna's time, if you look at Lauda in 67, in 76, cars were a bit more manual than they are today. Nowadays, the steering wheel has about 40 buttons, and everything is computerized. You look at Senna, they were driving, actually during Senna's 89, 90s when they went to the sequential gearbox, the auto gearboxes now. Before they used to drive manual. And Senna's first win in Brazil, he drove with 3 gears to the end of the race, and he could not get out of the car. because it was so physical, so emotional, and you get tired. Even Mansell in '92, there was a time he fell down in Monaco because he failed to win the race, and he was pushing so hard. You push yourself so hard, and it's very demanding. Schumacher, because one, he was, I would say, a bit dirty. He was not the cleanest of racers.
He had a mean streak.
Yes.
I do everything I have to do to win.
To win, yes.
My favorite race of Schumacher, he didn't even win, but Monaco. He started at the back. He hit Fernando Alonso so that he could get pole. So he was pushed at the back. He finished 5th. In a street where people should not overtake.
Just so that Fernando Alonso does not.
But then he was so he was pushed to 22nd. He started 22nd, he finished 5th. In Monaco, where people do not overtake. Now that's what I think it should be. He overtook 17 cars to get to 5th.
Now let's try and get the people who are starting off now. You know, you guys, you're in your own generation. There's a whole new generation coming up, and this is what they're finding. Give them some motivation as to why they should follow Formula One right now, and some of the intricacies or the fun.
One is that it's a pinnacle of motorsport. You're not going to get anywhere near the level of speed, the level of technology that Formula One cars are running today. The batteries they have for cars that they use for boosts, I think, produce about 170 brake horsepower, which is more than most of our road cars, and that's just the energy boosts from the batteries. You can learn more on technology from Formula One if you're into engineering. 2, it's enjoyable as a sport. As much as you're saying there's no overtaking, if you leave the dominance Mercedes have of the sport right now, if you focus on the likes of the new kids on the block, Alex Albon, who's my new favorite, Lando Norris, Kvyat is back, although we hope he doesn't get back into his old self. Look at Ricciardo going to Renault. So the battle in between the teams in the middle, the Racing Point, McLaren, who are coming back up, that is where you can see the battle coming up. But then people tend just to go for the top. If you go for the top, your win is on Saturday.
I'll tell you the only bit I'm enjoying in 2019 season. Leclerc versus Vettel. Ferrari want Vettel, Leclerc is like Hamilton. He's like, I can do this. So that bit I'm enjoying. The fact that this kid says, no, I think I'm better than you.
It is actually, and that would happen pitted against anyone. If you brought in Lando Norris against Vettel, more or less you would find a similar battle to go with. Because one, Vettel will be under pressure, because he's been at the team 3-4 years. He needs a world championship.
Getting any
he needs a world championship.
And he's been choking. It's not, the Ferrari seems to have been having the better car, and in crucial moments he's been letting the...
I wouldn't say the better car, but they have matched Mercedes in most places. So with that battle comes in, I'm new, I have nothing to lose. So I step on the car, and I can beat you, or I can put pressure on you, and then you go. Again, Vettel drives a very specific car. If you look at the car he was driving at Red Bull, 4 championships, was a car that operated how he wanted. And he used to fit in the car like a glove. So the car turns where he wants, the car brakes where he wants, and everything. He's not getting that with the Ferrari.
Mutfiri, this season, just let's talk about this season. The Spanish Grand Prix was yesterday, and same thing, obviously 1-2 Mercedes, and as I was talking about the Vettel and Leclerc battle, how have you viewed this season, and is it the end of the road for Vettel? Is he getting scared? Because everything just kept going wrong for Ferrari yesterday. The pit stop was like insane. It was way too long. What's like the strategy? What's going wrong for Ferrari this season?
I think you need Vettel, for example. Charles just said it. The car is not tailor-made for him. And so he's struggling because sometimes, like even if you go back to the first race, when he had just under very minimal pressure, and he spun the car, you really wonder what's happening. This is a guy, he's German. I don't expect a German to choke. Those people are supposed to be hard as nails. The Germans we know, I don't know whether they're a new breed of Germans. But the thing is, what Ferrari need to do, they need to get up and sit down and do a proper strategy. Mercedes, at all the times, even when they're under the cosh, they always do the right thing. For example, again, we go back to the first race and the second race. When Leclerc was doing so well, then his car just, and then Mercedes were there to take advantage. So I think Ferrari, they are not doing good strategy, and they have a driver who doesn't seem to believe in himself. He doesn't want to go out there so hard, because I can't remember when he was at Red Bull, and correct me if I'm wrong, he was very good, especially off the blocks.
Yes.
But nowadays, it's like he's so afraid to be hit. He just wants everybody to go around him, and then he starts following the pack.
Maybe Chalo can explain, because Ferrari make the most money in Formula 1?
Yes.
I mean,
they've
got the biggest brand,
yes.
They've got the most money.
Yes.
Why can't they just do what Moturi is asking? What do you need?
Yes.
Yeah. This is what
Build
you need.
your car.
Give you exactly what you need. Secondly, why wouldn't they just let the two race each other? Like, guys, let's go.
So being a Ferrari fan, it's very disappointing to see what they're choking up on strategy, especially if we just do yesterday. 8 laps they waited to swap Vettel and Leclerc. They're both on different strategies. I mean that they let just Max Verstappen get away with the podium. Ferrari are paid the most, but they don't have the biggest budget. Mercedes have the biggest budget, but they do get a lot of money from the FIA, sorry, from FOM, who manage Formula 1. The hybrid era, Ferrari started on the back foot, and they were not there during 2010-2014 when Vettel was winning. And actually in those 2 years, they chalked up the championship in 2010 on the last race. There were 4 drivers pitted against, who are going for the title on the last day of the season. Mark Webber, Fernando Alonso, Vettel, and Jenson Button. At that last race, they followed Mark Webber into the pits, came out of the pits in Abu Dhabi, were not able to overtake because they focused on the wrong car. On the meantime, Vettel got pole. He was P4 for the championship and got the job done. Now, Ferrari's biggest problem is I think they need to diversify on their team. I think there's just too much Italian in the team. So you find team principal, all engineers, everything. They have to employ other guys from other nations. They have to get Germans, they have to get guys to bring something new.
What's he called? Adrian.
Adrian.
You need to get Adrian from Red Bull.
You guys, a final word. We are saying Mercedes are at the top of the game. It's Lewis Hamilton and Bottas. So that's the competition. I want you to tell me, Lewis Hamilton or Bottas, who will get away with it this season? Because Bottas has come in a new man this year. It's not the same as he was last season, and he's actually been giving Lewis Hamilton a run for his money. Do you think he can push him all the way, or will this be another championship for Hamilton?
I will borrow from Mutweri. Formula 1 is great. A lot of things happen. Lewis Hamilton wins.
Mercedes are dominant, and if you look at the last 5 years, anyone in a silver car can win the championship. The only thing is that if you look at what Rosberg did, he blocked his mind from Hamilton's mind games. Hamilton is very good at mind games. So if you're going to beat him, you have to block yourself from those mind games and then just focus on your car. Because the 16th Bottas got pole position on Saturday, that woke up Hamilton. That must have pushed him to drive the way he drove yesterday. Because he's seen now this guy is really fast, and we are now in the 5th race and he's not going anywhere. Because he's taken pole position the last 3 races in a row. So he's there to fight it out, but at the end of the day, you're not sure if Bottas can be able to go all the way. Last season, he went the whole season without winning a race. So it's too early.
He seems like a different man. He's actually competing. Which way do you think he has what it takes to at least push him all the way?
It will be a case of Liverpool and Man City. Bottas will get there, but not close enough.
Not close enough.
Yes, because at the end of the day, Hamilton has been around the block. He's mastered the car, and I thought when Rosberg beat him to the title, it was more of his own failings, as opposed to how good Rosberg was at the time. I don't think he's going to let that go, especially when now the Schumi's record is just around the corner. So I think Bottas may come close, but no cigar.
Well, I don't know if James Okabi has been turned into a convert for Formula 1. Maybe some of you at home have.